And for F1, you join us in Mexico tonight with Ash in the commentary box with me, and we're going to get straight off into this qualifying session. Jojo's going to be
the McLaren's the first out.
Yep. Followed closely by what looks like Williams of Hushrav then. Through turns 1, 2 and 3 before opening it up onto the first DRS straight with long acceleration zone before heavy braking into turn 4 and 5. Turn 6 of the double right hander coming up now, and be careful on the exit there just to minimise wheel spin. And towards the S's of turn 7 through to 9. Now heavy braking into the stadium section, turn 12, 13, avoiding the sausage curb because that can send your car around, 14 and 15 before 16, 17, the final sweeping right hander onto the straight for a hot lap of Mexico. Now qualifying, of course, the top 10 will have to start on the tyre they set their fastest lap on. So have to keep an eye out on that. Of course, the softest side being the hyper soft right now, and that is the one Jojo is taking in the McLaren.
I think it is possible to make a one-soft from hypersoft to the harder compound, but it's quicker to do it from hypersoft to supersoft too.
It'll be interesting to see the strategies on it. Of course, we have the man who's leading the championship, Simsy Danger. He's not going to be able to make it tonight. He's out on a party actually.
As Jojo wins into the wall, he's got half the front wheel.
That's going to cost him. Hushrav, but he'll be the first to finish a lap then. Let's see what kind of lap time he can punch in right now. And that's going to be provisional pole with a 1:15.3. I'm just going to quickly sort out what's going on in the top left for you guys. Just in a group, and they keep sending messages. There we go. Yes, the drop gate after an absolute drive last race in Canada. It'll be interesting to see which of the top 4 of the championship will come out on top here in Mexico. Of course, Mexico does usually produce an excellent race. As said, is a title challenger as well. He's coming out of the final turn now. And that's going to be provisional pole with a 1:14, but only just in the 1:14s. Slightly missing out on the 1:13s there, unfortunately for him. But everyone's setting laps now. Nika up into 4th with a 1:15.1. Brumidinho then. He's just behind at the top of the championship. He's currently 5th with 50 points, 11 points behind 4th, who's on 61. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of a difference he'll be able to make on the championship, running slightly wide. Of course, very easy to invalidate your lap time through the S's.
Printer on the final corner, 1:14.5 to go, second.
Brumidinho isn't looking all too fast this lap. there from Wesley. He's heading towards the stadium section now.
He goes second with a 1:14.2, 2 tenths off divisional par. So the only 3 people to yet to set a lap are Jojo, Spaghetti, and Samu.
Jojo is out on track after that earlier incident. He's still on his outlap, but he's bumped up into ERS mode 5 now, because he's preparing to set off on that all-important hot lap. We've had a dry qualifying though. Will it be a dry race? It probably will in Mexico, of course. Quite a warm country. He's off on his lap now. The circuit length here is 4.3 kilometers, with the race distance being 152.5 kilometers tonight, and we will have 36 laps for a lot of entertainment. Of course, you've seen the lap time around here isn't too long. The McLaren heading through the S's, which are very tricky. If you're running too much ballast, you could just get a snap oversteer and go into the barrier, so they'll have to be cautious through there. Through the stadium section. And out of the last 2 turns, what kind of lap time can Jojo set? Across the line. And he's going to set a 1:15.5, so just 1.5 tenths off Hushrab. But that's going to mean he's at the back of the pack for now. So those last 2 who have yet to set lap times are out.
There was a car spun around in turn 1. I think he's moving again. I'm not sure who it was, but there was a car that was spun around into turn 1.
I'm going to let you know. Wesley hitting the bollard on the pit entry there.
Harry Blues has wing damage. He's into the pits now.
Yeah. He's probably the guy that spun around then. There goes Hushrab. What kind of lap time can he set? Oh, I think he's actually on an out. That was an out lap. Spaghetti Chips, on the other hand, is also on an out lap, I think. Eight and a half minutes left of qualifying. Yellow flags in sector 1 and sector 2. Not sure why that is. Have a quick look. Someone's probably lost it.
Dropped starting the lap on softer tyres and he set his first lap on, so he will probably go quicker.
That's actually the fastest lap time. The fastest two have been set on ultras, so these strategies are going to be interesting. Don't think Droppier is too happy with the time he's set on the super, so he will be having a go at starting on those ultras if he can get a higher grid position. Spaghetti then, he's only in 12th after his hot lap, and he's on the hypersoft tyres, so that's second last for him.
Dudar Seb's about to go quicker by 4 tenths. He set that lap on softer tyres and
yes,
he did pursue.
him into the 13-second barrier then, with a 1:13.622. That's Wesley warming up his tyres as he's on his outlap.
Drops round at the final corner.
Oh. He's facing the wrong direction on the pit entrance. That was a close call with Vinstra. He's very lucky that didn't go wrong.
Yeah.
Vinstra just about avoiding him. Six minutes and 42 seconds left. Yellow flags in sector 3. I'm not too sure why that is.
Wesley's also setting a lap on faster tyres.
He clearly thinks he can go for that pole, I think. He's definitely challenging Scudero Seb this evening. And the people we thought would be top, Spaghetti Chips, quite far off. He will probably go out for another lap. But it's interesting to see that he's struggling to get up into that position.
Spaghetti Chips is leaving the pits now. On Ultras, so another set of Ultras. Which, he set his lap earlier in Hypers, so...
Who's out on a hot lap then? Hisham, isn't he? He's just going to do the final section. It's just Prince Killer, I believe. He's the furthest ahead in the hot lap. He's about to run out of ERS actually into the stadium section, but he's managed to put it back up. Now then, what can he do here? Can he improve? He's on the same compound of tyres that he set his first lap on. Really cutting the pits, minimising that distance, and he's got into the 1:13.9. So he's ahead of Wesley, but Wesley, can he pull this back now? He's almost out of ERS through the S's, but he will have to retrieve that position.
He's 2.5 attempts up.
He needs to gain 3/10. Oh, it's big corner cut there, and that's definitely a lap invalidation for him, unfortunately. Yeah, and there he goes into the pits.
Spaghetti Chips is going through the S's now.
He'll
need to improve on his lap. Oh, he loses the back end massively there.
Managed to keep it in check, luckily for him, because he's going to have to put everything into this next lap. He's on the ultra softs now, so he's going to be trying to start on that harder compound.
And it's a 1:13.9.
So that's third position, just missing out by 1,000th of a second on the front row. That is close, but Dropier squeezing into pole position by 1,400ths of a second. It's getting very close in the top now. The top four separated by just over 1/10 of a second. No, exactly 1/10 of a second. This is beginning to become a very close qualifying session in the closing few minutes. Philip Hogston in 10th right now. He's on the hypers still. He's currently fastest lap with a 1:14.9. He will improve. It's likely he's going to improve. But how much will he improve right now? He's on his hot lap. As you can see by the limited amount of ERS he's got in the store. Going very wide. Just dodging the barrier. And he's up into 8th with a 1:14.6. So improving by about 3.3 tenths of a second. 3.3 tenths of a second there. Oh, and that was a Ferrari. It looked like going very slowly in the stadium section. But DeLuca, he's about to go out on his fast lap. And it looks like Jojo is on a fast lap, running slightly wide there towards the S's.
Is Spaghetti Chips going to have enough time to get out again? Because he has a lot of time to improve on. With how much he lost the back end, but he's not going to be able to get out in time.
No, there's just 1 minute 15 seconds left. Unless he does the old corner cutting trick, which I've seen him do before.
He is leaving the bits on hypers.
He thinks he can get up into that top spot, doesn't he? I'm not sure he's going to have enough time. He's got 50 seconds to get round the circuit.
He's going to have to cut every single corner. But he's not doing it.
No, he's not. Maybe trying to keep those tyres clean. Maybe he'll cut the S's. Bit of a front left lock up there. These are the tyres he'll be starting on if he can get another lap in. Oh, and that's a McLaren in the barrier of Jojo. It's not gone well for him. Let's get that to Spag. There's just 10 seconds left. He's not going to make it. Unfortunately for him, the checkered flag is about to be waved to end his session. Can he defend that position though? Those hypers just going out too late, and his gamble has cost him. He's going to have to start in P5 now because Prince Killer's just squeezed ahead of him. On the third row then will be Spaghetti Chips. Wesley could overtake Spag as well. Wesley's on the hypers now. He was on the ultras with his last lap, so Spag's in serious danger of dropping down to 6th. This qualifying session has not gone in the Brits' favour. Across the line then, Wesley with a 1:13.5. That's in the front row. It's going to be Drop Yay next to Wesley at the beginning of the session. Although DeLuca will not be making another lap. No, he won't.
Pushrev is the last person that will be able to improve.
This guy's ERS.
Looks like a decent good lap.
High.
He goes 7th.
1:13.9, missing out ever so slightly there. And now we're just waiting for Jojo to go into the pits. You can see them wheeling his car away in the background there. Any moment now we will be ending. There we go. Now the qualifying order is as follows: Drop Yay, Wesley, Scuderia Seb, DeLuca, Prince Killer, Spaghetti Chips, Hushrav, Veenstra, Brumadinho, Nika, Philip Holston, Jojo, Samu the Pito, and Hairy Blues rounding off the grid. Just 2 seconds separating all of the drivers, and you can see the gap between Prince Killer and Spaghetti Chips, just 1,000th of a second. You can't get much closer than that.
Dropier is in a good position to win, obviously, on pole. And Spaghetti Chips is on the Ultra Softs, is the highest up on the Ultras. So he could be one to watch for the race.
Oh, when
Actually,
it's a wet race. Uh-oh. I don't think anyone was banking on it being wet. Now this is any man's race to win. I doubt the drivers have practiced too hard in the wet because it's Mexico and it's a very rare sight to see. And Spaghetti Chips has been compromised by going out on the Ultras there. Because if he'd gone on the Hypers, he would have had the choice of tyre to start on anyway, as it is wet. But how long will it rain for? Or will the rain get heavier? We'll have to wait and see.
And apparently Hushrav had his DRS stuck open.
That might explain why his loss up was relatively slower than it could have been.
It'll be interesting to see how the drivers cope with the formation lap, because usually when it's wet, you have a few drivers that spin on the formation lap. And Prince, Killer and Spaghetti Chips and Vinstra have all been disqualified already.
This means the race is going to be longer than you may have expected. Of course, wet's not as fast as slicks. These tyres also a lot more temperamental than slicks. You can overheat them. And in the S's, it's going to be interesting to see if anyone does oversteer, because that is a very likely possibility. You can see just how slow they're having to take it in what would be a gear 6 or 7, they're having to take it gear 4 and 5. I say half the drivers have actually been disqualified from the formation lap.
No one seems to spin, but a lot of drivers are struggling.
The start is going to be risky for all of the drivers as Dropier rolls out onto the straight to take his pole position. There we go. Hairy Blue's just arriving now. Held for 10 seconds already is Dropier. 15 seconds. As it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Out and away we go here in Mexico City. It's a good start for Dropier. Spaghetti Chips up 1 position. As you can see, it's going to be close into turn 1. There, Wesley lining up a move on Dropier, but he's backed out of that. And there goes down the inside of Spaghetti Chips. Hushrav having quite a good start. Prince even having to defend. He touches Hushrav, but luckily avoiding spinning. There's a yellow flag. There's someone spun out.
Brumadina, Philip and Vinstra have collided. Scooterer had a Scooterer said had a pretty cool start. He was sliding around from off the line, but Brumadino is now last with ring damage. So, but it is wet, so anything can happen.
It's going to be difficult to follow through the S's for Spaghetti Chips and Dirty Air, and the wet not helping, but he is gaining on Hushrav. Could we see a move here? Oh, Hushrav moves to the inside. Looks like he had some slight oversteer. Has he hit the barrier? I'm not sure. But there's yellow flags now as Spaghetti Chips goes down the inside. He's got the overtake. Hushrav having to back off there. And you can see in the background, Samu and Prince Up there goes Hashrav down the inside of Scuderi Seb. They touch. Do they touch again? Yes, they do. Tyre walls banging against each other. Scuderi Seb's going to get ahead of the driver. Drop, yeah, second the fastest up with a 1:30.9. They're about 15 seconds slower on the intermediate tyre, so it's not too bad. It's not too wet, but it's wet enough to have an adverse effect on the drivers. As here comes Hashrav, who's got the slipstream. He's going to move to the outside, which will become the inside for the second part of the turn. They touch again. Scuderi Seb staying ahead, but there could be a switchback move here as Scuderi Seb has to defend from Hashrav going down the inside. Samu backing off from that battle. Scuderi Seb is trying to take a sniff down the inside. He goes for it. These two drivers batting out with all their hearts. They touch yet again. They're going to have to be careful. They don't want to take each other out. The Williams staying ahead for now. But one person to look out for, actually two, Samu and Harry Blues. They've made up a massive amount of positions at the start of the race here. Both of them have made up 6 since the red lights went out.
I saw wing damage somewhere. Out of the double left-hander there. I think it was behind Samu. There was a wing damage for either Harry or Prince.
There goes Spaghetti Chips down the inside of Wesley. He's got the position, and that's him up into third with the Red Bull. Drop the 8 with a 1:27.6, so he's gained a long lap time on that lap.
Hashrav is down to 7th where he started now. After a good start, he's back to where he started. But he might try and re-overtake Samu.
Wesley down the inside. He touches Spaghetti Chips, but he's going to have to back out of that. Has he got front wing damage from that? I'm not sure. It doesn't look like it, but you never know. And of course, front wing damage is really going to affect how fast the drivers can race. He's trying to slipstream Spaghetti Chips along that straight, but he can't quite manage it. Bruma on Nicker now. Down the inside goes Bruma. He's got the overtake on the Ferrari.
But Dropwood really starting to pull the lead because Jojo went after a bad qualifying. He's in a bad position for the race, but it is wet, so anything can happen.
It's very possible that he could lose it. He just needs to keep his cool and get it around, because he has got a commanding lead already, and it's only 3 laps in. Of course, he's a lot faster in the wet. This could be pole to podium finish for Dropye if he can just keep calm and keep ahead of the rest of the drivers. We've got Samu gaining on Scuderi Seb right now. Bruma is just overtaken Vinstra. Of course, Bruma not having the greatest of starts. He's only down 1 position though right now. Hashrav, yeah, he's stayed where he is for now. That could all change. We'll have to keep an eye out on everyone. Prince Khalid is down 4 positions, so he's had a really bad start for him.
Spaghetti Chips now on the back of DeLuca and the Torossa.
Just a second behind. Although it's the fastest lap. Although Scuderi Seb quickly beats that by about a couple of tenths there. Of course, the racing line now beginning to dry out. The rain isn't all too heavy as there's the yellow flags in Sector 2. and of course it could dry out. Oh yeah, that's very wide there from Jojo. As Scooter said, gets a 3-second time penalty. I'm not sure if this rain will last to the end of the race. It doesn't look to be too heavy, and I think it's possible that the track it'll stop raining and there'll be a change to 6, because as you can see the track surface is not wet that bad. Of course, as the rain still falls, it will stay wet.
The sky is that dark either, and you can see the sun slightly through the clouds, so it should dry out by the end of the race. Although, like Singapore, this track, you can't really see the rain on track until it's very heavy, so
yeah, we do have to bear that in mind. But here comes Brumadinho down the inside of Prince Killer into the stadium section. He forces him wide. That's really, you have to be careful about that. As Prince Killer defending, there's no contact between the drivers, luckily. Was that a corner cut from Brumadinho? I'm not quite sure. But Harry Blues is looking to capitalise on this situation. You can see him gaining, the other two drivers slowing each other down. Brumadinho does get the position, but can he hold on to it? Whoever has the better exit onto the straight. Prince Killer moving back is 3 in a row, trying to get the slipstream, as Harry Blues trying to get the distant toe off the other drivers into turn 1. Could we see Prince Killer reclaiming that position? It doesn't look like it. He's going to have to slot in just behind for now. Well, he goes for the switchback move on Brumadinho. He could have it. It looks like he does have it. He's got a better exit. He's going to move to the inside. Of course, no DRS. He's relatively low on ERS. Brumadinho is staying ahead for now, though. We're going to have to keep an eye on this battle as it's getting close. Although up at the top, Spaghetti Chips is gaining on DeLuca. That gap was a second. Now it's only half a second. And shortening. In fact, we're going to hop up to it now as we get the helicopter camera angle. The dirty air not helping Spaghetti Chips through the S's, but in to the stadium section, we can see an overtake here. Spaghetti Chips moves to the inside. Has he got the position? It looks like he has. Yes, he has. He's got the position on DeLuca, and that's second place for the Red Bull driver. And Dropye still 6 seconds ahead of them, though, so Dropye really commanding this race. We've got battles unfolding all over the track right now, actually.
But Spaghetti has clean air now. Not stuck behind cars, although Luca is coming back at him, but after Spaghetti gets past Luca here, I think that gap could come down from 6 seconds very fast.
He's just getting a 5 seconds to go. Oh, bit of oversteer there from DeLuca. Looks like he's having to concede that position. The two sister teams fighting each other right now. 3-second time penalty for Harry Blues. We've got Samu and Scuderia battling it out on track. Battle for 4th, and right now between Wesley, Samu and Scuderia. Oh, and that's Veenstra out of the race.
That looks like it was just before the S's or at the S's by the timings.
Yeah, I'm not too sure where he's going though. But that's Philip Hogston on the Super Softs. So we are seeing the transition into dry tyres. You can see the bollard on the track there, and all of the drivers are pulling into the pits now. There could be a double stack from the Mercs here. Spaghetti Chips being held up massively here. That's going to really cost him. He's down to 6th now due to being held up by all the drivers in front of him. That's not gone well, and they've all gone on to the Super Softs. Are they going to try and stretch those to the end of the race? That's going to be 28 laps. I don't think that's possible. Actually, Samu is on the Ultras.
Also on board with Philip, you could see that Veenstra crashed at the exit of turn 1. Spaghetti runs wide into turn 1, or the exit of turn 3. Of
course, the track's still rather greasy. Yeah, that was a big bout of oversteer for him. Droppier still miles ahead of the pack. Spaghetti Chips has really been compromised in the pit stop phase. You're going to have to be careful though, because you can see from Spaghetti Chips' perspective that the track is still greasy, and I think I still saw a drop of rain come down there. So it's not dried just yet.
But Spaghetti Chips has to do all the work he's done in this period again. But that is unfortunate for him, and he's got a 3-second gap to the car in front of him. And he might even be under pressure from Husrev, as he seems to be struggling quite a bit.
He will have to gain as much time as possible now. Although we've seen it in previous races that he is rather good in the dry conditions. I reckon he'll be able to finish on the podiums, but how far on the podiums we'll have to wait and see. As Skuderisev is going to be gaining on Samu this lap.
Samu has gained 9 positions. Started in 13th and he's in 4th now.
It's gone very well for Samu actually, yeah.
It seems some drivers is under fuel with the yellow fuel light because it was wet. Like Brumadinho and Samu were in the yellow. Samu is not in the yellow anymore, but Brumadinho still is. So he may have underfueled because of the wet conditions, and now he has to save in the dry.
Just set the fastest lap there with a 1:27, but that isn't going to be too big of an improvement due to the track still being a bit wet from the rain. As you can tell, the track is still greasy and they're going to have to keep being careful, and this is the point in the race that the drivers have to be very careful of, because it can catch you out rather easily. As Droppier, I think, just at the fastest lap there. So we get Chips with 1:22, so the track is drying out quite fast though. We've got Samu on Wesley. Samu takes a peek round the outside into turn 1. Has he got the overtake? They're still side by side, the Haas and the Force India. There's contact there, and that's the Haas gone wide, and that's Skuderisev up behind. Has Skuderisev just hit the back of Samu? I'm not sure. Doesn't look like any damage to the Mercedes, but he's going to have to stay behind Samu for now, as there's yellow flags in Sector 2.
That was for Jojo Winners round at the S's. He's got major wing damage.
He's just retired, yeah.
Chose to retire.
I think he's given up at that point. As I said, the track is still a bit greasy, and the drivers have to keep an eye on that.
But Droppier is a 10-second lead to DeLuca now.
It's fair to say Droppier is commanding this race, as he sets the fastest lap there with a 1:21.1. So, yeah, the track is becoming drier and the drivers are becoming faster as the race goes on. Although Droppier is on a softer compound of tyres. He's on the Ultras, while the other drivers, most of the other drivers are on the Supers. As you can see there, apart from Brema, Prince and Harry. So he will be going for the 2-stop here.
You won't expect many mistakes now though, as the track dries up, so there may be the odd mistake at the S's, but there shouldn't be too many mistakes, especially from these top 6 drivers.
Here comes something around the outside of Skuderisev. That was a very late move under braking. Very lucky to have kept that safe actually. Nicker with a 3-second time penalty there. On the exit, Skuderisev pulling away slightly. And to look at his 11 seconds, Droppier even, he's got a commanding lead over this race, it's fair to say. Samu's also on the Ultras, so I think Droppier is actually on the 2-stop strategy here, rather than the 1-stop. I think the Supers might be able to last till the end of the race for the drivers. We'll have to wait and see, as Droppier sets another fast lap with a 1:19.9. But he may be safe if he pits, because it will mean he's faster. in the second stint, as the supers begin to wear at that point.
Samu's on the back of Scooter Seb again, but he just doesn't go for the move yet. He might look for a switch back onto the second DRS straight, but he doesn't get the greatest exit, and Scooter Seb seems to be getting away.
So in the background, Spaghetti Chips gaining on Wesley as well. That's Scooter Seb and Samu getting back past the Mercedes. I don't think we're going to see a move here in the S's.
Samu's got past Scooter Seb. Scooter Seb will try and get past Samu again. Have to re-overtake him. But now DRS is enabled. It's going to be a lot easier to overtake on these straights.
Yeah, Scooter's got the DRS. He's got the RS. He's got the switching. Has he got the position? He moves to the inside into turn one. Under braking, he's already got it. Although Samu putting up a fight. He's trying to keep the inside line, but he's not been able to hold on to it. And you can see Wesley and Spaghetti not as close as these two drivers, as the DRS is active for Scooter Seb actually. So he is holding on to that for now. Battle unfolding. This could be a battle for the podiums now, as the gap between Wesley and Samu is now under a second. It's getting ever closer. We'll have to wait and see how this pans out, as DeLuca is now 12 seconds behind Dropye.
This could be a four-way fight for third, and maybe even a five-way fight for second. These drivers are going to push each other to catch up to DeLuca.
Dropye with 1:18.0.
Everyone's going to have DRS on each other, although Wesley is just outside of DRS and he hasn't got DRS on Sammy. It's about a second, 1.1 seconds, so he doesn't have DRS. The Spaghetti Chips is going to go the long way around, but it turns to the inside and then the outside again. He has DRS for the second straight, but he already has the move done before the second straight. But Wesley, with slipstream, he's not got enough speed with Spaghetti having DRS, so Spaghetti's up into fifth and now can look forward to overtaking Sammy and then Seb. And the gap has gone from 3 to 2 seconds, from third to second, and it may even be 1 second by the end of this lap.
And that was Prince Killer overtaking Hairy Blues there in your background. Hirschraff is also relatively close behind Brumadinho, and that's Wesley. He's dropped down to over a second behind Spaghetti Chips. So those four beginning to spread out again.
Scooter Seb now within sight of DeLuca, so DeLuca will have to be watching his mirrors in the coming laps.
Brumadinho second the fastest lap there with a 1:17.5. Spaghetti Chips can now begin his journey up to close the gap between himself and Samu.
Samu within half a second of Seb. Maybe gonna go for a move in the stadium section if he gets the better exit out of the S's, which he seems to have got.
Scooter said though, he's behind DeLuca. Will he have DRS onto the straight? I'm not sure. It looks like he's going to miss out by 100th of a second for DRS. Scooter Seb, oh no, he has got the DRS actually. He's just within a second. The Spaghetti Chips punches in the fastest lap, which is a 1:17.3. So the drivers are speeding up.
That's only 2 seconds. Oh no, sorry. That's only 2 seconds off the lower qualifying times of the session. So
A lot of pace in the Red Bull. Scooter Seb is gaining at a rate of knots on DeLuca, but Dropia is now 15 seconds ahead of DeLuca, and increasing that gap all the while, although there will have to be a second pit stop any moment. Well, not any moment, but we are halfway through the race.
Dropia has now extended his lead to 15 seconds. Eventually he will be able to make a pit stop, and that is what he needs to have a pit stop advantage, just to be safe. It's not confirmed that DeLuca and Seb and all these other guys on Supers are making doing the one stop, but if they are, then Dropia still isn't in the best place for the win.
That is Scooter said that he's made it up. Although Samu is about to make a move on DeLuca as well. DeLuca really dropping back this lap. That's 2 positions so far. That's not gone well for him. Samu's up 10 positions since the start of the race. He could be on for a podium here if he can just keep it together.
DeLuca's obviously struggling as he's just lost half a second to Spaghetti.
It's not going well for DeLuca.
Spaghetti just controls the spin. Nearly spins on the first part of the S's, but he keeps his car under control. He's rapidly gaining on DeLuca. Obviously, he was held up massively in the pits, and he's got to do all the work he done in the Invis 10 laps ago. Again.
In all fairness, he is clawing back quite well from what he lost. But DeLuca's closing up to Samu. He's got DRS, he's got ERS, he's got the slipstream. He's probably got Rich Mix as well. Nearly going into the back of Sonny there. I think he got caught out by the early braking of the Force India. Testing the track limits as well, I must add.
Spaghetti looks like he's struggling. He's lost the back end again on the exit of turn 3. But he is still gaining on DeLuca.
He's running
by the end of this lap, he may have DRS. The Spaghetti Chips is now within DRS, half a second between him and DeLuca. He may go for an overtake in this lap, although DeLuca still has DRS on Samu, so it's going to make Spaghetti's job a bit harder. Because he hasn't got the closing speed because of DRS.
Unlucky Joe, by the way. That was, yeah, it was unfortunate. Rain. Oh, I don't think anyone was expecting it to rain this race, but it did throw a little bit into the mix, and it has changed the outcome of what everyone was expecting. I don't think anyone foresaw Samu getting onto the podium. Will he be able to hold on to it? That will be the interesting part, though. Yeah, it's unfortunate you didn't manage to make it to the end. Sorry about that, but thank you for letting us know why. Prinskilla and Harry Blues, they've been battling actually quite away, very quietly at the back of the grid. DeLuca getting a 3-second time penalty there. But Prinskilla staying behind Harry Blues for now.
DeLuca seems like he's falling back a lot now. Will Spaghetti have it this lap? I don't think he will, because DeLuca is actually gaining on Samuel's DRS now, and he may even re-overtake him. He stays behind for now.
Yeah, just didn't quite have the room to make it under braking.
Because he's had a poor exit out of there. But now he may be under threat from Spaghetti Chips.
Just 3.5 tenths between Spag and DeLuca. I don't think at this point of the race we could tell who's going to come out on the podiums. Dropier's on the softer tyres, so he'll have to pit. Will he be able to make it back up into first after pitting? That'll be interesting to see. Then we've got Scooter Seb, looks rather safe. Samu, on the other hand, once Spaghetti Chips gets past DeLuca, he will be under a heavy threat. There's the yellow flags in Sector 2.
As DeLuca is not in DRS with Samu now, so that's not going to be good for him. As Spaghetti Chips should have moved on this lap. But Dropio looks like he's actually losing time to Seb
he is
now.
beginning to lose time. I think his tyres are beginning to cliff, and he will likely have to pit soon. So that gap was 15 seconds at one point, now it's just 13.5.
Spag and Chips practically pushing Luca now.
Harry Blues in the pits, so yeah, Harry Blues is also on the Ultras, so it's looking time that Dropier pits, because Prinskilla is now ahead of Harry Blues. Wesley getting a 3-second time penalty now. Could we see a move from Spaghetti Chips this lap? Lap 22 of 36. 15 laps to go.
Spaghetti Chips is goal close now, so I think he may have the move done on this straight. But obviously he gets DRS for the next straight. With this track being how close the DRS runs are.
He's moved to the inside though. That could be an overtake on the Toro Rosso. They were battling earlier. They're battling again, and it looks like Spaghetti Chips has got the overtake. But on the exit, it looks like DeLuca has got the traction, and he's been able to accelerate faster. They nearly touch again.
Those yellows were for Philip, who I think has got damage, and he was going very slow.
There's contact. I think DeLuca might have front right damage. May have seen some carbon fibre missing. He's got a 3-second time penalty. Wesley is joining the party right now. You can see him in the background. He's gaining.
For Spaghetti, instead of looking at Samu, you may have to look behind it both for Luca and Wesley, because
DeLuca's
it
really
could even be free
dropping back.
wide on this straight.
As Scooter Seb and Dropier are both pitting now. I didn't think did Scooter have damage?
No. Let me quickly check the stints. No, it was both Force Indias that went on Ultras, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Was that the strategy calls from Force India to put them on Ultras? Because then they get the strategy call.
They're both on Supers now.
There was someone else on Ultras.
It was Harry Blues, but he's changed tyre.
Oh, it was Brumadino. Was Seb a bit struggling for his tyres and he's put on ultras. Yeah.
And then drop the 8 in 5th. Can he get back up into 1st? You've seen that we can see a battle emerging for 2nd position. Samu is actually quite far ahead, although he's on the ultras.
As these supers guys are pitting.
It doesn't look like the super could have made it. It's going super to ultra now. This is getting interesting. 12 laps to go. And I have no idea who's going to come out on top. Samu needs to pit at some point.
I'm not sure what tyre Samu is on. Is he on ultras?
He's on the ultras. He's on ultras right now. So Luca's going to watch out from Dropye. Dropye moves to the inside. Can he get the overtake? He's going round the outside actually, rather. And yeah, he's got the overtake on the Toro Rosso. Could we see a switch back from DeLuca? It doesn't look like it as we head towards the S's now. DeLuca's going to have to give up that battle until stadium section.
I think Samu is on supers because if you put it to tyre detail, he's on supers and in the top right with supers. It's just a graphic glitch, I think.
Yeah, I thought he was on. Yeah, because I thought he was on supers. Yeah, it must be a glitch of the game. He will have to pit soon though if all of the other supers are pitting. As I say that, yeah, he pulls into the pit lane now.
The Dropye did not have to worry about his leads in the end.
No. Dropye second fastest lap actually with a 1:16.5. So pretty much in the qualifying times. Oh, there goes Scooter said 1:15.7. So yeah, pretty much in the qualifying times of the lower grid. Spaghetti Chips, he's got past DeLuca. So has Wesley, it looks like. Yeah, Wesley's got past DeLuca.
It's about 11 seconds from Dropye to Scooter Seb, which is where he has to really look for because Hushrav has to make another pit stop. There's no way he's staying on those tyres, and if he does, he's definitely risking a puncture. He most likely will get a puncture. And also the cars behind are just gaining so much. He should pit this lap.
Yeah, his car's 17 laps old at this point. He will have to pit. He'll probably peel into the pit lane this lap, yeah. He's the only driver yet to have pitted, and that will then make it clear where everyone's... No, he's not. He's going out for another lap. He's really stretching these tyres. There's 10 laps to go. Interesting call from the Williams driver.
Is he trying to make a one-stop work? Because he was down in the lower points in 7th and 8th. But is he trying to make a one-stop work? Because Brumadino is actually making a good comeback drive here. After spinning on the first corner for the first lap, he's back into 8th and nearly attacking DeLuca. Spaghetti Chips is nearly in DRS of Samu.
Hushrav is going to have to watch out for Scooter Seb. He's not far behind. Here comes Scooter Seb. Down the inside into stadium. Oh, Hushrav's backed out of that one very early. That might be due to his tyres, although Scooter Seb did go slightly wide. That might be due to his tyres, or he just knows he's not going to be able to win that battle. Spaghetti Chips is now a second behind Sammy the Pito and gaining. So this will be interesting to see what happens. And I think, I'm not sure if Hushrav's made... Yeah, Hushrav going into the pits now. I didn't think he'd make the right call to stay out that long because he's really dropping down. He's losing pace. Spaghetti Chips now in 4th. Dropye still 10 seconds ahead. Spaghetti Chips and Samu batting. Oh, and that's Prince Killer out of the race in sector 2 or 3. I don't know where he's lost it. I'll have to watch on board Philip Hodgson to see what's happened.
He may have lost it out on the exit of the S's. That seems where it is if it was yellow sector 2 and 3. Because that is where the crossover of sectors is. It does, and the yellow flags were on the exit of the S's, so I think it was on the exit of the S's.
And now Spaghetti Chips is 4 tenths behind. No, no. He's got half a second. He's got the ERS. He will maybe have the DRS. Prince Killer, he was actually on a decent drive there. He had a really good battle with Harry Beers. Unfortunately, he's out of the race. But here comes Spaghetti Chips down the inside into turn 1. Will he have it under the braking? It looks like he might do. Yeah, Prince Killer pushed too hard, and that's what's cost him the race. Just is looking like 11 finishes now.
Spaghetti seems like he's got the best braking into turn 1. Because he downshifts to 7 just before the corner, which means he can brake later with better stopping power.
Yeah, I noticed him downshifting earlier, and yeah, I was wondering why he did that, but it does mean he can brake later into turn 1.
I think that was a lot of the top guys from other leagues that they. Like at tracks like Austria, they do not use 8th gear at all in the lap because they just get better stopping power into every corner, but there's no point in using 8th gear.
Yeah. Fortunately, we haven't had a safety car yet. Or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it. Fortunately for Dropye, unfortunately for the guys behind. Samu is not letting go of that position to Spaghetti Chips though, because that gap's back down to 4 tenths of a second. He really does not want to finish outside the podiums. He will fight back, but will he be able to fight back enough? That's the question everyone is asking.
And Dropye, unless a catastrophe happened, it looks like he's got this win now with 7 laps to go. He's got a 10-second lead, so he'll have to be driving back more than a second per lap to be within danger or have a catastrophe to him.
Yeah, Dropye does seem relatively safe in his current position. Samu is close. You could see an overtake here with the DRS assistance. Not quite. He's just slightly too far back to make a move on Spaghetti Chips. And Spaghetti Chips can defend his podium position for now. 7 laps to go. Can he stay in 3rd? Or could Samu get his first podium in Racing League Hub? Either way, there's a possibility that Dropye could take lead in the championship.
But Samu's had a brilliant drive from 13th. He was obviously going to gain positions with 3 DNS, and means that he had the minimum in 3rd, but to gain 9 positions from where he started, possibly 10, depending on the way this goes, that's very good. And also a very good race of Force India as a whole.
Yeah. If I had to pick a man of the or driver of the day for this race, I know who it would be.
I'm not sure. It would probably go to Samu, but I would consider Droppier as
Yeah,
well.
Droppier has commanded this race as Samu does get the overtake on Spaghetti Chips. If Samu finishes on the podium, he has done not to say if he doesn't finish on the podium, he's done an excellent job. But he's just done so well this race to make up so many positions. I just think he deserves a lot of credit for his race tonight. Although
I think
Droppier
if you
has done such a good job as well, just to hold the lead from lap 1 all throughout the race.
I think if you were to put Droppier into Samu and Samu into Droppier, I think Droppier would have gained the same amount of positions that Samu has, and maybe more with the drive that he's done today. So you could look at it like that and give
Yeah,
the driver of the day to Droppier.
it's a complicated one. Let us know in the comments what you think. And that's 3-second time penalty for Spaghetti Chips. Could that cost him? DeLuca on Wesley. I'm not sure if he's going to get that position. It doesn't look like it. Bit of a spin on the exit there. DeLuca could get up into 5th. Because he is gaining on Wesley at quite a rate. With Spaghetti Chips, we've got to keep an eye on him and Samu. Don't know who's going to finish top out of these two drivers. It's been a very good race for both of them. Well, not actually. It's been a good race for Samu, not for Spaghetti Chips. He's not had the greatest day. He's up 2 positions from qualifying, but it's just not gone his way today. That's a 3-second time penalty for Samu as well. I think that they're even now.
Spaghetti was unlucky in qualifying, only able to get one run and missing out on the second run. And then he got held up and went from 3rd to 6th in the inters to dry periods. And he's just not really been able to pass drivers even at this track. With DeLuca being able to stay in front because of DRS to Samu, as he actually goes for the overtake on Samu now. But because DeLuca was staying within DRS of Samu, he just couldn't get the move done for about 3 laps. As there are 3 laps to go, or 4 laps. So.
Will Spaghetti Chips stay on the podium then, or will it be Samu getting ahead? Samu's going to begin to get aggressive here, I reckon.
As DeLuca actually is on the back of Wesley for 5th. Which is still a lot of points.
Yeah. Right now, Samu is very close to Spag into stadium. We could see a move here. Or into turn 1 maybe. Scudero Seb's on 61 points. Dropier's on 69. He will take the lead of the championship then if he can just hold on to it for a few laps longer. On the run in towards turn 1. Could we see a move from Samu? Yes, we can. Can Spag defend? He just hasn't got the speed to keep him out. And that's way before the braking zone's even begun. So Spaghetti Chips really stood no chance there.
And Force India could get a double podium here as well, which would be crucial for the constructors. So, constructors wise as well, it's looking great for Force India. And I mean, Mercedes has had an alright day, 2nd and 7th, but that's nothing to compare to 1st and 3rd, maybe 4th.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out.
As the gap between Samu and Scudero Seb is coming down a bit, but I don't think it will come down enough within the last 2 laps.
Yeah. 2 seconds in 2 laps. It's unlikely. It's possible though.
Because Spaghetti and Samu are pushing each other very fast in these last 2 laps. I think they might have just got into DRS around the final corner. Although Seb's just got a penalty, and I believe that's his 2nd penalty of the race.
Have a quick look in the race director. Screw a Seb. Let's have a look then. So, Screw a Seb's got 1.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's his 2nd penalty. Yeah, because
the way
Spag
things are
has got
looking,
1 penalty.
he'll drop behind Samu and Spaghetti. So it could be a 1-2 for Force India then.
It could be. This is interesting now. Yeah, that's Scooter's definite 2nd penalty. Spaghetti Chips has 2 penalties actually. He's actually got 3 penalties.
So it's definitely looking like a
So Scooter has
1-2 for
3
Force
penalties
India.
too. Scooter has 3 penalties too. And Samu is closing down. He could make an overtake here actually. He said it was unlikely. It is unlikely, but 1.5 seconds. He's gained it by about a second as Spaghetti Chips gets ahead now. I think Samu will still finish ahead. This could be a 1-2 for Force India. An absolute drive. What a race it would
gained
be.
11 positions in penalties.
Yeah.
But Dropier's just controlled this race completely.
Yeah.
But it's massive for Spaghetti to catch up to Seb. But Samu will be in 2nd.
Yes, he will, and that will be an absolute epic race. And I think the Scooter Seb will finish 3rd now if they've both got 3-second time penalties. And you can see the Mexican flag coming up en gas as Dropier takes the lead here in Mexico. As Scooter Seb crosses the line, he's going to drop behind Spaghetti. And it's going to be a 1-2 for Force India. Absolute sensational race for the pink car. DeLuca coming around the final turn now across the line, followed by Wesley. Wesley finishing ahead now because of penalties. Then Brumadinho finishing ahead of DeLuca as well. Hush Rabbit then finishing behind DeLuca. Here comes Nika through the stadium section for the last time. The fans have gone crazy. You can see the smoke in the grandstands. As out of the final turn, for the final time, it goes Nika and Hairy Blues coming out of the S's now to finish off what has been an absolutely excellent Grand Prix. Dropier, Samu and Spaghetti Chips are the podium finishers today. And for the final time, a car goes round at the last 2 turns. What a race that was. And across the line.
But Samu gets 2nd from the last row of the grid. He finishes on the front row of what would have been.
Yeah.
So he starts 2nd last and finishes on 2nd.
Yeah, he's done an absolutely excellent drive there. Both of the Force Indias. I mean, team of the day is definitely Force India. There's no doubt about that.
But who would you give your driver of the day?
I don't know. I want to say
unluckiest
Samu
driver of the day.
Unluckiest Brumadinho because he got spun in turn 1 and that pretty much cost his whole race.
I would have maybe given it to Spag.
Yeah, that is true. Spag was unfortunate, yeah, especially with the pit stops and qualifying. And it's raining again.
He could have definitely been up there for the win, I think.
Yeah. But
if things hadn't have gone badly for him. But my driver of the day, I'd have probably given it to Dropier because he managed to get no penalties, which is pretty good around a track like this.
Yeah.
Where it's easy to just extend a little bit. And
Every
then,
driver apart from him and Philip Holston got penalties.
yeah, and he ended up winning by 22 seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you do interviews? I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
but I'm just going to go through the finishing order, and that's going to be Dropye, Samu, Spaghetti Chips, Scudero Seb, Wesley, Brumadinho, DeLuca, Hushrav, Nika, Hairy Blues, and Philip Hogston, Prince Killer rounding off the finishers, and the DNS are Jojo and Veenstra. And I will invite the top 3 to the party now, and we can conduct some podium interviews, or post-race interviews, whatever you want to call them. So Spaghetti Chips invited, and now we just need to invite Dropye and Samu. I don't think I have Samu as a friend, actually. No, I don't. I'll do that through the search then. I suggested Samu as well. Well then, Dropye, we'll start with you if you've got your mic ready. How did you feel about that race? That was a good drive from you.
It felt fantastic.
You commanded it all the way.
Can't really see anything else.
Yeah. But I mean, in the wet stint and the dry stint, you just pulled away from the others. There's no other way of saying it. And then, yeah, we'll move on to... Yeah, because you didn't have a dramatic race, you just had a fast race. But we'll move on to your teammate, Samu, because that's a 1-2 for the Force India team. Samu, how did you feel about that race?
Hello everyone. Yeah, fairly good. Good battles with spaghetti chips and Scuderia Sep, and yeah, great race.
Yeah, you must be happy that Scooter got all those penalties, because that gave you the second position. And you and Spag
Yeah,
battled a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wasn't battling a lot with wasn't battling with spaghetti because I knew Scuderia Sep had more penalties, so I was like just helping him with the DRS, and he was, I think, helping me with his DRS, so we could close up to Scuderia Sep, and yeah, trying to minimize penalties, try to, I don't know, catch up to him, and yeah, and not battle to, and yeah, exactly, minimize risks, and yeah, and I want to congratulate Dropche for a nice win. I mean, amazing pace, and yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll move on to Spaghetti. The bottom step on the podium, you weren't that fortunate that race, I have to admit.
No. 100% no. That was probably the most unfortunate race ever. But I'm I'm debating sending in a stewards because I got 2 warnings in one corner, and that was my last warning. So I may be able to get a penalty removed, but we'll see about that. But anyway, the main thing is I got stuck in the pit lane.
Yeah, I saw that. That was so unfortunate. Because you dropped down to 6th after that, didn't you?
I did, and then it was just a battle, just trying to get back up and up. And I had some great battles. Even Samu, with Samu, you did the cheekiest thing in the world and was just flapping your DRS open and closed. That was the most cheeky thing ever.
No, because
Oh,
I was like trying to tell you that, I mean, not fight me or something like that, but now.
yeah. But
Yeah,
overall, like in the dry stint, I felt so much better than I did in the wet stint. obviously not having the best of starts, being pushed down, and then from there I was just working my way back up. I had some really good battles with a lot of good talent with like Wesley, for example. We had a great battle
Yeah.
with him, and also DeLuca as well. So basically, it was a really good battles, but a very unlucky day.
Can I just ask, did the rain at the start of the race surprise you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't think Svag, you weren't expecting it, because I think most people weren't, because loads of people went out on the ultras and the supers in qualifying and tried to set better fast laps than that, and then at the end you realised, I think, and went out for hypersoft Spag, but then you didn't manage to get to the flag in time.
No, I did not look at the weather forecast, and
Yeah,
that's just something to learn in the future.
Yeah,
yeah, me either, me either.
Yeah.
yeah,
I just forgot. I ruined my Ultrasoft stint and I spun. That's why I went on the hypers.
all right. Yeah, but anyway, I think we're gonna wrap that up there. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the race, and join me next time. Goodbye.